right, we're back into familiar territory. Injuries hit, but there is good news. One great news, Phillips, who he went down, he was limping as he left the field, is going to be all right. He tweeted just a leg bruise. So I'm going to cover the multitude of issues. Going to focus on Jackson, injured again. A little shell game, kind of symbolic of the Jackson thing, both his in and out and people's evaluations. It's a big deal. So I'm going to get into that. But like I said, there's good news. Strom Duck is rising, and he even got a call out from Hill today. There's some other bits and pieces. So I'm going to dig all into that, guys. So that's the whole deal for today. Remember, if you can, please like, subscribe, comment, view, hit the notification bell. It's how the gig goes down. And so you're keeping me in the gig by helping out with that. So I'm very, very appreciative. But the truth is, without you guys, without my sponsors, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so good news. Terron was on the scene. He's still a piece of this team. He still has his heart here. He came to help defensive side of the ball and the offensive lineman. Just put his input in. This guy should coach. He's got everything in him to be a coach. Very intelligent, great character, super positive, and he's got loads of experience. I hope that he gets a coaching gig, and hopefully here, maybe head coach. But let's not talk about that. Anyway, so Phillips is a guy that I'm invested in. I have deep feelings for him as a person and as a player, probably the most since Wake. And it was very concerning to see him go down. But quickly, it was washed away with him getting a leg whip. It was a bruise, thank God. Knock on wood, we need him. He needs this season. I don't want what happened to who happened to him. It's already happened to him 2 years in a row. He's got to stay healthy. So please put all your fin juice in for this guy. He's just a real special guy. So that was the good news. On the downside of it, Jackson went down, and he's going to be out for weeks. Borum stepped in. He's supposedly going to be ready, Jackson is, for week 1. But there's going to be a lot of missed time here. And if you remember, he had the injury last year, but then he got something happened to him in another area during spring ball. And he had about a month, maybe 2 or something, to recover from that. He had a few days of practice, and now it's back. Is it the same thing? Is it the thing from last year? I don't know. But guys, while he's not good, despite the heavy push from some to kind of fix this thing up to make him look good, again, he's throwing in a one-dimensional run game, outside zone, which is the best suited for him. He gets loads of help with pass rush mitigation, and it's the fastest throw game in the league by far with the least amount of true pass sets. So there is so much makeup on Jackson. He's not that good. But he's better than Borum in some ways. Although Borum does bring something that I like, I'll get into that. But it's another Greer move of a guy we shouldn't have extended. And then we extend more money of him into next year. So if we get rid of him this year, which we probably should if he gets injured again, which is sort of likely. If he doesn't, then that's okay. But there's a lot of data points to say with all these lower leg injuries and the continuing issues that he might not make it through the season. But that's a Greer thing to do. We got Borum. And Borum is not Jackson with his movement skills. Jackson does have movement skills. He just, for some reason, can't put it together. It's a little technique, a little lack of junk in the trunk somewhere. Something's missing because he does have loads of physical talent. He's a great guy. It's a shame. But Borum does have junk in the trunk. The junk in the trunk slows him down, so he doesn't have great movement skills. But the nice part about Borum, and the ugly part about Borum, is that he's not going to get bull rushed. And he might be able to help a little bit more in the run game, on the inside run game. I don't think he's nearly as good as Jackson, because Jackson can get there. Sometimes he gets bad angles and he doesn't do a good job when he gets there. But he has the movement skills. He's a big guy and he does give his all. But this inside run game and his ability to kind of handle the bull rush and the power, not to get blown back, is a bit of a positive over Jackson. But Jackson, I would definitely want more than Borum. So there is some good side, but clearly Borum's our backup tackle. And so we should get a good look at Borum, because the chances are that Jackson will get injured again. Hopefully not, though. I mean, for us, for him, and all that. But I've got to evaluate fairly. But the complication is now that Borum got too much junk in the trunk and can't move so well, some of the help that might have been able to flow to Paul and his side will have to flow to Borum. And so McDaniel's going to have to do things differently. He's going to have to adjust if Borum is a week 1 start. Don't know. We'll see. But he's 1 snap away from starting. So this is going to be very interesting for us. So that's the deal on that. Thankfully, Brewer is back. Not full, limited, but he's closing in. And that's going to be a big deal. Similar to what we did when Terron was here, we flowed all the help to Jackson. We'll be able to do that again with Borum, but it's going to put a little bit more pressure on Paul. But with Brewer in there and Savaianaya looking pretty darn good, and Daniel's pretty darn good, there is opportunities, the way we call things, the way we scheme things, to help out these 2 tackles. Although I don't think Paul needs as much help as Jackson did in previous years, just because he's got the ability to handle power. He can make mistakes. They're saying he's a little grabby, but he's having a great camp. But all that power really it changes the complexion, the differences between sending the help to Jackson, who doesn't have it, and Paul, who does. So it'll be very interesting to see on that. Brewer's a big piece. His ability to get a second level, his smarts, calling from the center. He doesn't have the greatest power, but he can true pass at block better than even Brunskill. So him getting back will help it out, and let's see how that plays out. Eskridge, sadly, last play of scrimmage, practice, went down. They carted him off. I mean, from a roster standpoint, it's not a huge piece, but he's a human. You feel bad for him, and he is a piece. Cam Smith. I'm not sorry, Cam Smith. Cam Smith got an injury. It seems to be getting worse. Pull the ripcord at this point. Will Greer pull the ripcord? He didn't pull the ripcord on many, many people. Tyndalls, Tanakana, although Tanakana is doing pretty good in this year. Let's see what happens. He didn't pull the ripcord on Jackson. Didn't pull the ripcord on Eichenberg. Will he pull the ripcord on Cam Smith, who is way back? I don't know if this guy's serious. I don't know if he's got just injury issues, like genetically or something, but it's pretty much close to him being done. Jack Jones had a nice pick today, and he's kind of hot and cold, but he's learning a new system. It's sort of like what he is. But he got a dinged knee. It's not terrible. We got to hope that is not anything. It's probably not. And then Marshall Jr., a rookie who we need, is dealing with something. He wasn't able to practice today. So there's 2 more corners with something. Thankfully, it's not something big. Trader's still out. So there's 3 pieces here. That's some questions, although Jack Jones, I think, will be fine. But Marshall, Davis was here. Like I said, he was in a cast, or I didn't say, he's in a cast in a scooter. So it looks like if he's at practice, he's still trying to learn because they expect him to come back. When will that be? So those are 3 pieces. 4, if you can't count Jones, that a little ding. We got to see what happens. But they are sort of reinforcements. Strom Duck is having a pretty good camp. I don't know who he's covering. I got to see how it plays out. But you can't ask for any more than good reports at this stage. And Hill even mentioned that he's getting better. We all love Strom Duck for his name. UDFA, big piece. If you can make this work, he is now absolutely critical to be a starter. There was a tweet by Omar Kelly that said that Hilton's kind of at the bottom end. Everyone's kind of doing a little bit better than him, the top tier guys, but he's new to it. But clearly, Jack Jones, Duck, and Hilton are our 3 starters. Big time needs. Let's see and pray to how that pans out. Ewers. I'm slow rolling to it. There's a lot of hype. People love to get on a backup quarterback. You know how it is. And then he comes in and says, oh, you guys the worst. Man, I don't remember that they were screaming for him to get in. But he's having a nice camp. There was a nice play where he was driven out. Don't remember if it was a blitz or a pressure. But he rolled down, drew kind of across the field deep, and had a very nice completion. He's showing some stuff. Big piece. Tua's got his injury history. Tua's having a great camp. Hasn't thrown a pick. Some people are like, well, let's see it during the season. Okay, that's fair, but that's really good that he's not throwing any picks, but you need a good backup. And if you get 3 of them with Wilson, that is ammo that you can use somehow. It's important ammo. So Ewers is starting to pull me in a little bit. Not too much yet. Sort of. Getting there. Long way. I want to see him in real action against opposing teams because you get used to people's tells, how they do. It's the same thing over and over again. If it's like a monkey, he does the same thing over and over again. Not calling these guys monkeys, but every day you're doing the same thing over and over. You kind of get a feel for it and it increases your ability. When you go to a different team, it's all new, and that will be the big key. Very good, though, and out from 3 yards per carry. I was hot and heavy on Phillips. But he said, look out for Biggers, 7th-round guy. He thinks he could shine earlier. And he had a very good practice, 2 or 3 stops for losses or stuffs. On the day, he's starting to pop, which is huge for us. Biggers, Phillips, Grant. These guys could be long-term pieces for us, and they're valuable. This is the good side of Greer. Hopefully, we'll see. So there is some good stuff. You're seeing this defense dominate. Is it because they're so good or this offense is struggling? I don't know. We're getting close to these joint practices, and that's going to tell a lot. Thankfully, Phillips as well. And we're seeing Duck rise. He'll be a Storm soon. I don't know if that was funny or not, but whatever. Trying to do something. And then Ewers, another big piece, along with some other pieces throughout this. Obviously, the Willie Gay Juniors and stuff like that, and all the other notables. There is some pieces here, but let's see. This Jackson thing is a big thing. So that's the deal. Back tomorrow. I think there's no practice tomorrow. Anyway, Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.